I think we were friendly rivals. You know, I would always want to get, as soon as it hit, Megadeth's record, Anthrax record.
And if you're a headline, you want to make sure you top everybody else in front of you.
Picture the scene. Dave Mustaine staggers in, reeking of booze, then smashes a handcrafted guitar and wipes out $1 million agreement in one violent swing. Tom Araya sees every second and never forgets. From that wreckage grows years of uneasy silence. Araya pulls back, watching from the wings, while fans ask why. What did he witness that made so many musicians vow never to share a stage with Mustaine again? This is not tired gossip. It is a blazing tale of rage, betrayal, and one meltdown that rewrote thrash metal history. At last, the locked doors are opening, and the truth is stepping into the light. Metal thrones collide, Slayer and Megadeth shake the earth. In heavy music, few are as admired as Tom Araya, and few split opinions as sharply as Dave Mustaine. Araya helped forge Slayer, a band critics call controlled chaos in its rawest form. Mustaine, thrown out of Metallica, turned rejection into high-speed fury by founding Megadeth, determined to race louder and faster than everyone. When these giants meet, sparks fly. Why did so many rockers, Araya included, keep Mustaine at arm's length? What moment convinced even the toughest players to mutter, "I'm not working with that guy"? Slayer rises in Huntington Park, California, in 1981. This is no lazy garage outfit. It is born inside a storm of feedback and rebellion that parents fear and teens worship. At the eye of the hurricane stands Tom Araya. He is more than a frontman. He is the calm center of a roaring beast. On stage, his bass thunders yet stays tight. His voice is not random screaming. It is a battle cry. While Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King slice through lightning-fast riffs, Araya supplies the backbone. Off stage, he surprises everyone by working as a respiratory therapist during the early years, caring for patients by day, then packing clubs at night. That balance shapes one of the most grounded figures in a scene of extremes. Meanwhile, in another corner of California, a very different drama unfolds. Dave Mustaine, brilliant yet explosive, has just been fired from Metallica. The dismissal for drug use, heavy drinking, and wild behavior cuts deep. Furious and humiliated, he rides a bus from New York back to California, plotting revenge all the way. His anger hardens into Megadeth, born in 1983. Megadeth is not just another thrash act. It is Mustaine's weapon of proof. He does not aim to join the crowd. He vows to outrun it. Songs like Mechanics and Peace Cells showcase precision and aggression that stretch the genre's limits. Yet genius walks hand in hand with chaos, and Mustaine's unpredictability soon shadows his brilliance. Thrash in the 80s is more than music. It is a movement. Loud, raw, and fearless bands respect each other, tour together, and push one another forward rather than tear down. Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax earn the name Big Four because they shape the sound and the culture. They share stages, trade ideas, and celebrate each landmark album as a victory for all. Behind the stage curtain, there is real unity despite the onslaught on stage. Even in that wild landscape, Dave Mustaine stands apart. No one questions his guitar mastery. Yet stories of sudden moods, substance fog, and ego-driven clashes make teamwork risky. Some musicians back away quietly, but Tom Araya ends up face-to-face with the turmoil. Here is where everything takes a sharp turn. Araya is not simply another player dodging drama. He becomes part of a near-legendary collaboration that blows apart in spectacular style. A studio meeting in 1986 could have reshaped thrash metal forever. Instead, it ends with smashed guitars, shouted curses, and a feud that stretches across decades. The blast heard round metal. Fresh testimony now uncovers one of the darkest backstage disasters in heavy history. After almost 40 years, secrets spill about the day Mustaine barged into a Los Angeles studio drunk, hurled insult at Slayer, and smashed Kerry King's custom guitar into splinters. This is no road myth, it happened. And it vaporized what might have been the greatest team-up in thrash. How did it spiral so far beyond control? Why did one outburst make Tom Araya and many others cut ties with Mustaine for good? Late 1986, the bosses at Combat Records and Def Jam Records, homes to Megadeth and Slayer, hatch a plan that sounds unreal, a split EP together with a co-headlining tour. Slayer's Rain in Blood has just shocked the world with unmatched speed and brutality. Megadeth's piece sells, but who's buying? Flaunts Mustaine's razor-sharp writing. Both bands are peaking. Both fan bases are exploding. This joint venture promises artistic glory and huge profit. The label scheduled a meeting in a Los Angeles studio to finalize details. On paper, it looks simple. Gather the musicians, settle track order, shake hands. Instead, chaos roars in. Slayer arrives right on time. Tom Araya, Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman, and Dave Lombardo stand ready with label staff and sound engineers. David Ellefson of Megadeth shows up quickly, too, explaining with a nervous smile that Mustaine is running a bit late, but is on his way. The clock strikes 1 in the afternoon. Minutes crawl into hours and tension builds. No one can find Mustaine, and each call drops to a dead line. Inside the studio, the mood flips from excitement to dread. Engineers tap cables. Guitars rest untouched, and Araya stares at the ticking clock. At 4, Mustaine bursts in wearing shades and a half-smile. The sharp scent of liquor fills the room in one breath. Before anyone greets him, he lobs an insult at Slayer, calling them slow and safe. Shock freezes the air. Mustaine grabs Kerry King's prize guitar like a trophy, then smashes on a metal case, with shards spray everywhere. Fury erupts as Araya steps forward, voice booming to stop the chaos. Security wrestles Mustaine toward the exit, while he yells that Megadeth will rule without Slayer. The meeting dissolves, the million-dollar project dies on the spot, and nervous label reps start shredding paperwork. That single outburst seals Araya's decision. From that day, he refuses every offer that includes Mustaine. Word spreads and many artists follow. The greatest pairing thrash could imagine is lost in a rain of splinters. Decades later, insiders finally break their silence. They reveal frantic phone calls, canceled tours, and lawyers scrambling through the night. Fans only sense a rumor, never the full explosion. Now those hidden details are public. The smashed guitar became a warning legend about unchecked ego. This is the burden Araya carried quietly, the reason he stepped away and never looked back. Studio minutes cost big money, and they were slipping away fast. Just after 4 in the afternoon, a full 3 hours late, Dave Mustaine lurched through the doorway. Witnesses gasped. He smelled of strong whiskey, eyes glazed and wandering. That thick tension you feel before a storm rolled across the studio in seconds. People say he cut into mid-sentence chats, mumbled stray thoughts, then blasted Slayer's brand new Rain in Blood without warning. He sneered that the production polished Slayer's wild power until it felt fake. The room could hardly believe he was knocking a landmark record while barely able to stand. Slayer first tried to shrug it off, but the fuse was already lit. Kerry King, never shy, shot back with icy precision, telling him, "We can play our songs live without messing them up." The jab sliced deep, and Mustaine's pride detonated. Arguments blur in memories, yet the core is crystal clear. Mustaine spotted Kerry King's prize BC Rich Warlock resting on its stand. This was no ordinary guitar. It was a custom, spiky monster built for King's speed and worth a small fortune. Out of nowhere, Mustaine grabbed the instrument, barked a slurred rant that no one fully recalls, then smashed it against a nearby amp. The neck snapped, the body shattered. Pieces flew like shrapnel across the floor. Shock froze everyone. Only the dull clunks with landing on tile broke the stillness. Then chaos roared to life. Kerry King lunged, but Dave Lombardo and Jeff Hanneman locked arms around him, while Tom Araya stepped between bodies, begging for calm. David Ellefson stood rooted, face drained of color. Label reps moved fast, ending the session and hustling Mustaine outside. That meeting was meant to kick off a creative union, yet collapsed in seconds, and the echo still rings decades later. The damage hit at once. The split EP? Dead. The co-headline tour? Gone. Any fresh Slayer Megadeth link vanished. Def Jam Records and Combat Records recorded heavy losses in wasted studio hours, stalled momentum, and shattered trust. Insiders later guessed the meltdown vaporized to $3 million of 80s metal revenue. Rick Rubin, hero producer behind Rain in Blood, reportedly vowed he would never partner with Mustaine again. Other thrash groups took note. Megadeth's image, already shaky after the Metallica exit, sagged further. Promoters began to demand large deposits or extra security before booking the band. Word sped across the scene. Work with Mustaine and you might lose the show, the deal, or your gear. Inside Slayer, the smash confirmed hard suspicions. They admired Mustaine's talent, yet now saw him as a loose cannon. In a later interview, Tom Araya said softly, "It was never only the guitar. It was the insult to Carrie, to us, to everyone who set that meeting up. That part can't be fixed." The sadness in his tone cut deeper than any shouted curse could. The blast did not just divide two bands. It split sections of the wider thrash family. During the early 1990s clash of the Titans' run, Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth shared stages. Yet backstage walls remained tall. Public smiles at tension. The veterans still felt from 1986. Nearly 40 years have passed, yet the story still thunders as one of metal's wildest explosions. Fresh interviews and resurfaced testimonies now show why Tom Araya and many peers chose to keep a steady guard around Dave Mustaine forever after. Tom Araya carries unique weight when he speaks. Known for calm focus among swirling chaos, he seldom dives into petty fights. When he finally opens up about Mustaine, listeners lean in. Across multiple chats over 20 years, Araya offers only small hints, each one steady. He never hurls insults. He simply notes a pattern. In a European festival chat during the mid-2000s, he flashed a half smile and said, "He seems nice, yet I always keep my guard up when he is near." That single line landed like a warning beacon. More than once Araya nods toward Mustaine stirring trouble, then stepping back after sparks fly. Those brief statements, delivered without heat, speak volumes. They reveal lingering caution born on that disastrous studio day and fed by every later outburst. Promoters around the world rewrote contracts, adding strict alcohol clauses for Megadeth shows. Insurance prices climbed because venues feared smash gear and last-minute cancellations. Music magazines pounced on the story. Guitar World printed a shot of Kerry King clutching shards as Warlock, calling it the day thrash snapped. Fans stared in disbelief. Mustaine slid into another rough period. Some nights he played like a genius. The next he shouted at shadows off stage. Bandmates never knew which version would appear, and the roller coaster drove multiple lineup changes. Slayer channeled the incident into South of Heaven, sharpening their sound with icy focus. They rarely spoke of the smash guitar, yet crowds felt the new edge in packed shows and record numbers. Old-school promoters even arranged festival routes so Mustaine and King would never share tight hallways. The split shaped tour lineup for years. Each anniversary sparks debate online. Young metalheads trade theories about how the lost EP might have changed everything. The legend feeds on mystery. Tom Araya stays steady through it all. He praises Mustaine's writing when it shines, yet reminds new artists that talent never overrules respect. His calm words turn the chaotic night into a timeless lesson. Replica Warlocks now sell as reminders of both brilliance and folly. Collectors display them under cracked glass, telling visitors how one swing rewrote metal deals forever. The takeaway echoes louder than any stack of amps. Skill can launch you, but character keeps you there. Araya's example still guides fresh players stepping onto dim stages, hearts racing with distortion dreams. The pattern kept repeating like clockwork. Dave Mustaine would fire off a fiery quote that slammed old bandmates, rivals, or even friends, and the moment the backlash roared, he would shrug, mumble a half apology, or claim reporters twisted his words. Tom Araya summed it up on camera in 2010. Say something wild, spark a storm, then act surprised and do it all over again. No laughter, only weary eyes that had watched the same cycle spin for years. Another key moment burned Araya's view of Mustaine into stone. During the 1991 clash of the Titans' run, every poster promised unity among Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Alice in Chains, yet backstage the mood felt anything but friendly. Crowds packed arenas, but nerves crackled behind the curtains. Tension stalked that tour from the first note. Mustaine rolled in, riding the huge success of Rust in Peace, yet carrying grudges against Metallica and Anthrax while still nursing hard feelings with Slayer after the 1986 studio smash. Managers begged everyone to stay professional for the fans, the money, and the scene, but cracks showed fast. Araya recalled awkward moments every day on that road. At one stop, Mustaine muttered that Slayer always sounds the same and hinted they relied on image instead of growth. Word reached Slayer's dressing room. Yet Araya chose silence over a fight. He kept talks with Mustaine brief and polite, sometimes skipping them completely. Crew members swear days passed without a single word traded, though the band shared buses, stages, even green rooms. On stage, the show looked smooth, yet Araya later said the vibe changed whenever Megadeth hit the lineup. It felt like a shadow followed us, he noted. We all felt unfinished business hanging in the air, and nobody wanted to name it. For Araya, that heavy cloud made real friendship impossible. Actions trumped talk, and Slayer stayed clear of Megadeth project for years. Araya's caution grew as he watched other bands quietly step away from deals with Megadeth. In later chats, he hinted at whispered phone calls where groups passed on tours not because of music, but because they feared chaos tied to Mustaine. People watch, Araya said. They see how you treat others, how you handle pressure, whether you show up or skip out. Industry veterans agree off record. Working with Mustaine can pay big thanks to his skill and brand, yet the gamble can backfire fast. For pros like Araya, non-stop stress outweighs possible rewards. Still, Araya never denies Mustaine's raw talent. He has praised him more than once, calling him one of the most driven guitarists I have ever met. Yet, the compliments come with a clear caution. In a 2018 Q&A, asked if he respected Mustaine, Araya paused and answered, "I respect his work and his path. Respect does not always equal trust." That single line explains everything. Araya can admire art while refusing to invite turmoil into his workspace. Even long after their busiest overlap, his message stays the same. Friends say he holds no anger toward Mustaine, yet he adds softly, "He is not someone I plan trips to visit." Translation: the chapter is closed not with hate, but with quiet finality. Why does that verdict matter? Because fans love digging into thrash history, seeking truth behind the legends. Araya rarely shouts, never pens rage-filled memoirs, and avoids headline rants. When he does speak, each word shows which actions echo across decades. He reminds us true professionalism means more than showing up. It means making others glad they share the room. In a scene built on volume and chaos, Araya's strongest message may be his choice to step back from noise and let his silence speak. Thanks for watching. If you had fun, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Check out the next video for another epic story.